Have you ever wondered, even when you know life has so much good in it, why do you still suffer? Why does the mind keep resisting? Is there a way to actually end this resistance? Not to manage, not to cope, but actually end it. That's exactly what this video is about. We went deep into these questions and arrive at very valuable answers. Watch till the end because what we shared could genuinely change how you experience life.
Okay, camera rolling, action. What is our topic today?
Our topic for today is to look at the resistance that we feel from time to time and how to deal with it or overcome it in our daily lives by being in the present moment.
How to deal with resistance.
Yes.
Okay, good. Please explain.
So basically, resistance means some kind of negativity on the level of emotions or on the level of mind. A thought might arise that something should not be how it is. For example, I'm sitting here, yet unease kind of thoughts might arise that might say something is wrong. Or if I feel restless in my body, another kind of thought comes on the top of that restlessness. It might say, this restlessness should not be there. There should be comfort. When you look at what's happening within you, you realize a lot of resistance is there, and we are so unconscious about it. So, when you just look at yourself, the body, how it feels right now, you feel that yes, there is resistance, there is some kind of unease, some thought that might say something is wrong, something should not happen the way it is right now. That's how I define how the resistance works in our daily life.
Okay, what I understand from what you're saying, resistance is essentially not accepting what already is. Whatever has happened or happening, if we do not accept that in this very moment, rejection of the reality is resistance. Can we call it that way?
Yes.
Okay. Now, obviously, question comes up, if something bad is happening right now, why should we not resist it? For example, right now, as we're sitting here and recording, I hear a loud noise, the vehicles or the bird. Now, why shouldn't I resist that and say this should not happen?
But let's take example of the vehicle noise. From the survival point of view, that is right to think that noise pollution is bad or is not good for health. But from existential point of view, it really doesn't matter to you. If there is no mental commentary that I should survive, I should have a healthy life, or I should be in a place where there are no noises, that kind of commentary is a choice. Let's take an example of a child. A child won't mind loud noises. He would mind biologically, that would scare him, but still he doesn't resist how we resist. How we resist is it's unnecessary. It's creating suffering for us when we have a choice to not suffer in this situation. So from survival point of view, yes, you can change your life situation, you can go in a better place, but that's the question. The question arises that where will you go? You can't escape the mind commentary. It has the habit of creating resistance, and that's the issue. It's not really about your life situation. If you go to the Himalayas, mind will create another kind of resistance story. Wherever you go, it's not going to solve the problem, because the problem is in the conditioned mind. It has the habit of resistance basically.
So the sounds that are happening here, the vehicles going by, there can be two level of resistance here. One is the psychological resistance, and the second is ideological level of resistance. What I mean by that is psychological resistance is this should not happen. Right now, as it is, whatever is happening should not have happened. That is what I'm calling a psychological resistance. And ideological resistance is the sounds are bad for your mental health and we should try and reduce it so that it's good for other people. Obviously, we understand that psychological resistance is futile because you cannot resist what already is. It has already happened. It's futile to resist what already is. So, in this moment, if I feel a resistance, a negative feeling towards it, it will not change the situation in any way. So, it is futile. And beyond that, ideologically, we should try and reduce the sound overall so that we all live with better well being. But what you're going ahead and saying further, that even this is a story.
How I see this is betterment or to strive for better life situations is not a problem. You must do that for the well being of samsara or this world. But by creating resistance, that is not helping what you are trying to
Okay.
achieve. By if you really want to strive, if you really want the betterment of society, by reducing the noise pollution, the best way is to start with oneself. By being at peace within yourself first, then only you can create any beneficial thing to the society. Betterment always starts with oneself. That's really the basis of improvement. Personally, I think that this is ego trap, where we say I want to do better to you or to the society, but we are not looking at ourselves. We need to first look into ourselves. This seems idealistic, but I think that's the way. If we improve the life situations, that means our circumstances of life, start new drives here to curb noise pollution, that's not going to fundamentally change our psyche. Our psyche is actually creating the problem. So we need to see the root cause and not the outer manifestation of the inner resistance causing mechanism.
Are you of the position that instead of looking at the noise pollution, we should try to strive for mental peace, and that automatically reduces noise pollution?
Yes.
Okay, I kind of have an objection to that.
Okay.
I don't see how that could happen though. Any kind of social changes, be it noise pollution, air pollution, these require government level policy changes, and then the adaptation happens and so on and so forth. Now, of course, the solution to improve mental health and well being of people, and they become aware enough to be considerate of other people, it can improve in that direction as well. But I would think that would take a long time.
Okay, but I think that if we only curb the outer policy level changes, that is going to be forceful, first of all, and they're not coming from within us, and that would be a surface level change.
Okay, let me put it this way then. There are laws to prevent murders. Now, if we think that people need a change of heart and stop murdering others and not put any laws, I'm giving an extreme example. If we don't put laws, policies in place, and ask people not to murder each other or any other kind of crime less severe than that, stealing, if we don't put that and we expect people to have a change of heart and stop doing it by themselves, the society won't have a stability to have that improvement even be possible.
True. When I say we need to see within ourselves, I'm not saying leave the policy changes. I'm saying do all that, but most efficient way is to look within. If we change ourselves, that is the fundamentally it's going to change society.
Okay. I would say that's a effective change, not efficient. Efficient would be considerate of how much time it requires. Policy change would be relatively quicker and efficient in that sense. Changing from people's mind level, well-being level would be an effective change and a long-term change, and it does not require any enforcement. Anyway, this is going a bit off topic. Coming back to why we started with this example. So what you're saying is it is okay to perceive the policy changes. That kind of a change can happen, but the psychological suffering of what is not necessary. That is what you're trying to say, right?
We have a choice to bring peace right in this moment by accepting the resistance coming arising in us and looking at it with an impartial eye, just looking what is happening within me. That's all.
Okay. So let's say, coming back to the same example, I want to get a little deeper into that. I hear a vehicle going by, and in this very moment, I see that and I feel irritated. How do we deal with it? I understand at the level of the intellectual level that yes, resistance to what is. I just heard the sound, it has happened. Now, me saying that sound should not exist does not change the reality in any way, shape, or form. And yet, I feel a irritation. Other people can have different experiences. This is one such an example. Now, in that moment, when the irritation is in the body, it is a form of resistance, you would say. What do we do?
Notice that this is the habit of the mind.
What is the habit?
To create resistance unconsciously, you're not voluntarily creating it, right? It is happening on its own, right?
Okay, give some space for the viewers to see themselves, to validate that in experience. Okay, there is a resistance, a very common human experience, and feel of irritation or anger or sadness, any of that nature. It is not voluntary. Yes, because nobody would consciously choose to feel any negative emotion. Yeah.
Yeah. Now know that it is the habit of the mind. That's how it is coming. We can say it is the past momentum of the mind. It is the habit that to create resistance at every vehicle that goes by, for example.
Okay, so if I understand that correctly, what you're saying, you're calling this a habit, a momentum. What you mean by that is in the past, the mind has reacted that way so many times that that reaction pattern is memorized, remembered.
Yes.
So we've heard this term, neurons fire together, wire together, meaning the connections become stronger. Certain pathways in the brain become stronger. The pathways become stronger as those neurons are fired together. They are wired together. So that is a common phrase that is used to indicate this phenomena. And also it kind of surface level explains neuroplasticity as well. And that is what you're pointing at, that this behavior pattern has happened so many times that it has automated in the mind. As soon as you have a trigger, and in this case the trigger being the sound, as soon as that trigger happens, the input happens. Just like a computer program, there is an input and a predictable output. So the sound comes and the output comes the irritation or the sound. So this is what this automated response or a reaction is, what you're calling a momentum of the mind, that it continues. This is a habit of the mind. It has learned to do this behavior automatically. This is what you're calling the momentum and learned habit, right? Okay, continue.
So your the nature of the mind is how it works. That why is it creating the resistance, the reaction? Now you know. Now you understand why this is happening, and notice you can't blame yourself for it.
True.
Right?
Yeah, if that is the past, in a sense that if that has been the reaction of the mind, and there is a certain level of wiring of the neurons to produce a certain result, I cannot blame myself for producing such a reaction, because it is out of habit. Only thing I can do with that is to become aware of it, that this is happening and this is a habit, right? That's what you mean.
And now you see that it's not your mistake, right?
Yes.
Essentially, it's not your mistake.
Not a mistake, yeah. It's not a conscious mistake.
Now, can you accept that this resistance is happening within you?
And it's not happening within me right now, but I can see what you mean. Similar to what I was talking about, when a vehicle goes by and I hear a sound, just like the way I cannot resist what is happening on the road because it has already happened. By feeling or saying or doing anything about that won't change the fact that has happened. Similarly, in a human body's reaction as well, the fact that it has happened, done, there is nothing that I can do further to change what has already happened. And the change is also not required because, again, it's coming from the momentum, the habit.
Yes, that's a good point.
The way that we, in a same way that we accept what is happening outside, we have to then logically follows to accept what is happening inside. Any kind of a feeling or a response, reaction, we have to accept it. Accept in a sense that it has happened. That's it.
Yeah, that's a good point. How we accept the reality outside and replicate that inside. What you need is just acceptance to transcend the suffering, to transcend the resistance. Once you learn to actually accept, actually allow both outside and within as it is, you can bring true change actually. But that's the next part, that's next step. Does this discussion feel like something you have been searching for? we go even deeper in our satsang, where we offer direct experience of your true nature, real freedom from suffering, and guidance for wherever you are on the path. If this resonates with you, now is a good time to join. Enroll in the community today. Link is in the description. Now back to the discussion. Right now, fully focus on what's here and now and see, do you really need to change anything? Just look at your within and outside. Do you really need that impulse to change it, change it? You will notice that it's coming from the momentum of the mind, as you said. So that leads to perfection of this moment. You don't want any change. You are just present with everything that is coming within and without. That means any thought that comes, any sensation that comes, feelings that comes, you are there and you are quite okay with it.
Okay, so if I understand what you're saying, to just look around, like with your eyes, look around, see and hear, experience what is happening within and outside, and see if you would want to change anything. Do this exercise and see if you would like to change anything.
Yeah.
Now, what you're saying is, if the response is yes, if that is the response, that is a genuine response, you're asking to see that as a reactionary response from the mind, a habitual response. Now, what you're asking further is to remove that reactionary habitual response, and then see again, do you really want to change anything?
Remove that reactionary response, or just see that okay, the mind is creating that reaction. You don't have to do anything about it. Just look at it, the reaction within. You will notice that it's just there. The reaction is just there. The restlessness, the unease, the resistance is just there, and you are allowing it to be.
Right. So just like we were observing things outside, in the same exact way, just like we are observing hearing sounds, experiences, the seeing and the hearing, those are objects of perception. In the same exact way, the thoughts and these habitual reactions that come in, you're asking to see them as the object as well and simply watch them.
Yes.
Right? Even if that response comes, watch it. If there is something happening outside and whatever the experience is, watch it. Continue watching.
Yeah, pay full attention to what's happening in this moment. That means if I am looking at something, I'm looking at it. Just I'm looking at only that and only I. That's all. If any thought comes, I'm looking at that thought. I notice, I acknowledge the thought that it is here. Yes, it is here. I'm not going to escape the thought, or I'm not going to distract myself from the thought. If that distraction thought comes, that distracted. You watch that too. That okay, a distraction thought has arisen, and okay, I notice it. My only job, my only work is to notice what's happening in this moment, whatever is arising. If a noise is there, I'm present with it. That's all.
Okay, I think this is powerful, and at the same time, I see that many people struggle in this exact area, and that is, they can look at their hand and see that it's an object of perception. It is an external object, very easy to see, very easy to observe, look at it, okay, as an entity on its own. And even better, if there is a rock in front of you, they're able to see it as an object, as something external outside. They're able to see it objectively without any emotional involvement, any identity towards it.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to hand, there is a slight bit of identity. If the hand gets hurt, there is a bit of concern that this is my hand. But even then, generally, people are able to see and observe this hand as something objective. They're able to see it because there is a shape. They're able to turn around and see it, and so on and so forth. It's relatively easy. And notice when we go internally, inside, what is happening in the mind, and the reactionary pattern that we talked about, and distraction thoughts, when they arrive, there is a struggle, or rather a common misalignment here is that we are identified with those thoughts and patterns, right? Instead, the proposition here is those thoughts, those whatever is coming up, the reaction, all of that, those thoughts and emotions included, all of those are as object as the rock, as your hand. When you're able to see them as objects, that is when you step back into the awareness, the pure awareness. And from there, you're not attached to any of that is playing out, be it external world, be it internal world. There is a complete detachment. There is a gap that can be perceived from there. And with that gap, the effects of those thoughts, reactions, patterns, the power of those thoughts and reactions goes down significantly, and the entire body calms down, relaxes, and there begins what Hinduism or Buddhism calls ananda. There, it begins from there. So the crux, the point is to see those thoughts, patterns, everything that is coming up as objects of perception, very similar to a rock outside of your body. Just like a rock is an object, those thoughts and patterns, everything that is coming up, appearing in your awareness are objects. You are not them. Just like you're not the rock, you're not the hand, you are not those patterns, you are not those thoughts. You are aware of those thoughts. Whenever you are aware of something, you're separate from it.
So how do you actually see that this whole thing in your own experience? For me, what worked was when I realized that I am in the present moment. I am actually in the present moment always, and every thought that arises, because essentially it's all thought. If I see a stone, I see a stone on the level of vision, perception, but on the top of it there is a mental commentary, a story, a label that says it is a stone. So essentially everything that we are experiencing, mostly it is thoughts. Do you see? Mostly it is thoughts. Yes, we perceive sense perceptions we have,
Yeah.
but on the top of that there are thoughts.
Internally, it's generally thoughts. That is the experience.
Yeah, internally is thoughts. So when you realize that every thought, how does a thought arise? It is coming because you have learned something about it in the past. Let's say if a child doesn't know it is a stone, it is fire, it is water, then there is no stone, fire, water for the child, right? So basically thoughts, that's how I say thoughts are the past. How are they past? Because we have learned those thought patterns, those labels, those commentary in the past, and it's manifesting in the present, and we are labeling something as a stone. How the thought, what is the content of the thought? Do you see? The thought is only just past, manifesting right now. It's coming in the present moment. When you just see, look, and try to look at something without any label, you are essentially removing the past, removing the conceptualization, removing the thoughts about it. So that's when you're truly present with that object you are looking at. So can you in this moment be truly present with any object in your surrounding? Any one object you can pick, and you can just look at it without having any label of it. Then see within yourself that you are present, and that thought that is arising in you in the present moment, that thought is the past.
When I try and do this internally, when I look at myself internally without any past, then there cannot be any thought at all. There is only experience of stillness. That is the experience.
Even if any thought comes, is there a problem? The thought
There is
arises.
no problem.
So that's what I was pointing to in the beginning, how to overcome resistance and be at peace within yourself.
Can you step back a bit and explain what you just said?
So even if any thought arises in the present moment, you are here. You are here as nothingness, awareness, no form. Although it might look that you have a form, but in your direct experience, if you turn within, turn your attention within, you'll notice that you don't have any form. So in that experiential perception, you'll see that, okay, even if any resistance comes, you won't mind it. That's the state I'm pointing to.
So in that state, the resistance is also an object to perceive. It is something that is appearing in the awareness, and you are the awareness. It is appearing in you, and you're simply watching it. And there is no further story attached to it that this resistance shouldn't happen or should happen. But if we were to identify with the resistance, then there would be a story further to say that I'm a spiritual person and the resistance shouldn't happen. Or it could be, okay, there is a resistance, now I need to do something with that. A further reactionary
Yes.
reactionary response, and it goes along, and that is what generally happens in regular experience. But when we step back and look at the resistance as an object as well, it loses its power. It becomes something that you observe, just like a stone, just like whatever. Although these are words, these are the point what experience is showing. Okay, now we can reach to, let's say somebody is seeing this, they're able to see this in the experience. Now how do they consistently stay in the experience?
Remind yourself of what words actually make you the observer of this moment, this experience. For everybody, there might be different words that work, different pointers that work. For example, what works for you is to observe. This word observe, this works for you. Observe the inner experience. Then remind yourself, whenever you feel that you are lost in the resistance, the reaction that is so intensely coming to you, you just remind yourself, take a deep breath and just see that, are you present? Are you there as a watcher observing the inner resistance, outer resistance? Or you can try looking at any object that is in front of you without any label, without any word. Do that for 1 minute or so and reflect that within you. This way you can become still. There are many other ways. One that worked for me was when I look at empty space. Just look at the empty space between us. Your mind gets still. It becomes still automatically. So when you actually perceive the empty space for just a minute or so, or just few seconds even, you will see that there's nothing here. Mind actually becomes still. So there are other practices. For example, listening to silence.
Yeah, gap between the sounds.
Yeah.
Listening to the gap between the sounds. Trying to look at the gap between two thoughts, so on and so forth. Yeah.
Yes. Thoughts might be difficult at first to look at thoughts.
Right.
So better is to look at the external space or the silence first in the beginning.
But I think the most powerful is to look at the inner experience as the object, as I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Because, of course, the beginning can be with the external objects, which is easy to do relatively, but the real transformation, the actual substance, is in the watching of the inner world as an object.
And as it is happening in this moment.
Yes. Not even as a past story. Even if a past story is running, simply watching that, the fact that a story is running, and maybe you have a judgment towards the fact that a story is running, that can be very powerful. So end of the day, anything that is happening is always happening in this very moment. Even if a past story or a future imagination is running inside, that is happening now. You are aware of that now.
Yes, that is a very deep realization.
Yeah.
And it's very powerful indeed.
And one last point I want to just add up here. All this awareness that we talked about so far, being present, the absolute fact is you are already present. You meaning the everybody is present right now, even if they do not perceive it that way. They are already present. The fact they are taking a breath, the fact that they're able to see anything, the fact that they're able to think anything, all of that is already happening in the present. The only problem, so to say, is not noticing it, not seeing it right away directly in this moment. That is the only thing that is stopping themselves from having this present experience. That is it.
Once we realize that we are always present, it's so easy to be present. Because we have this tool that only I need to notice what's outside, what's inside. Just notice, and you are relaxed. You accept, because noticing is basically paying attention to the mind, and you realize you are present.
Two words: accept, notice, or accept, witness. Accept, witness. This can be used as a mantra to close your eyes and say that to yourself within. Whatever is happening inside and outside, accept that in this moment right now. Of course, the situation might need to change, but you don't have to change while you're suffering because of the situation. Those are very, very different things. You do not need to suffer the situation to be able to change it.
Yes.
Suffering is optional. Change can be necessary. that is what your mind may perceive that it's a necessity, and that change can happen.
Yeah.
But in this moment, suffering is optional. Suffering is not needed for a change to happen. Anything else you want to add?
Just enjoy the present moment. That's how you bring peace to this moment and yourself. Don't expect yourself to be enjoying. Just look at the mind and see its playful resistance coming here and there, and know that you are above it. You are more powerful than the mind momentum.
You are aware of the mind's momentum. The fact that momentum is happening is because you are aware of it. Otherwise, the momentum would not happen. And yeah, the point of not expecting yourself to be happy, that expectation itself can create resistance to what is. Because you're expecting, say there is no happiness right now, and you're expecting, and this moment, you want this moment to turn into happiness, and that is not happening, and that itself can become a resistance.
So you need to be very alert within, to pay attention what's happening within you. Moment to moment, you notice what's happening within you, and slowly it's a practice, it's a skill that you will learn to notice it more accurately and with more awareness. So know that it's a practice. It's not going to come in 1 day or 2 day or 3 day practice. It takes a good amount of practice. Don't expect yourself, don't expect too much from yourself. Just remember one thing, that you need to be present and look at what's happening in this moment. If you were not able to do that in the past, that's okay. This moment is a new moment and you can try it now and see for yourself if that works.
Yeah, and the thing is, like we already said, the present moment is already here. It is accessible 24/7. It's open. The service is open.
Yes.
And you might be able to see it right away, and that is possible, obviously, because it's always available. And you might lose it, but it's not. It hasn't gone anywhere.
Yes.
It's just the momentum of your mind has taken over, and that's it.
Yes.
And you come back again,
Yes.
and you do that again and again. Once you do it a few times, the strength of that momentum comes down, and you will be able to naturally be in the moment, or you will be able to naturally easily get into the present moment in the next instances. So this will get easier, not harder. So just take out 10 minutes, 20 minutes a day. Do it once in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening. Just sit and simply observe and accept what is. That's it.
That's it.
Okay?
Perfect.
Say bye-bye.
If our message resonated with you, but you find it hard to stay in this understanding, to remember it when it actually matters, and to live it, we hear you. We have a solution for this stage of awareness. What you really need is consistent pointers to truth, every day, every week, until it becomes your living reality. Our weekly satsang provides that. If you genuinely want to be free from suffering, not as an idea, but as your actual experience, satsang is where that happens. Details are in the description. You are welcome to join.